Good evening. I would like to call to order the Kaiser City Council in regular session. It is Monday, December 20th, 2021, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Kohler?
Here.
Councilor Herrera?
He's briefly excused.
Councilor Reed?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here.
Council President Smith?
Here.
And Councilor Dram?
Here.
Thank you very much. If you are able, I ask you to please rise and invite you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. This evening, under special orders of business, we are going to administer the oath of office for City Council position number 2. In a special session that was concluded at 6:30 this evening, we interviewed 6 applicants for the position, and I've got to tell you, once again, Kaiser showed up. Incredibly talented, capable people, all of whom were willing to step up and take a role as being a city councilor for the city of Kaiser. The city council has selected Shani Starr as our new city councilor number 2, and our city attorney will now administer the oath of office.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Shani, can you come to the podium, please? Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Shani Starr,
I, Shani Starr,
being first duly sworn, upon oath say that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the state of Oregon,
and the state of Oregon,
and that I will faithfully perform
the
duties of counselor
for
the city of Kaiser
according to the best of my ability
for the term of my office. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You do not want to shake my hand. It's that way a lot.
Thank you very much. Hey, listen.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard, Shani.
What was that?
The question Friday night was a test, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll let now Councilor Starr get seated. And later on this evening, when we do our council reports, I'd like to offer you an opportunity to share a little bit with our viewing audience, a little bit about yourself, if you would, please. All right, thank you very much. And congratulations. And again, congratulations to all of our amazing candidates. And thank you so much for applying for this position and being powerful volunteers in our community. I would like to go to committee reports now, and item 5A, which is the Community Diversity Engagement Committee appointment. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the City Council is aware, you created the Community Diversity Engagement Committee at your meeting of November 1st and adopted rules for appointing members to that committee. Under the terms of those rules, the mayor will appoint 2 councilors to serve, and each council member will appoint 1 citizen to the committee. The mayor will additionally appoint a youth member, bringing the total number of committee members to 9. So that would be 2 councilors, 6 members of the public, and 1 youth member. There really wasn't an established criteria for appointment. Each councilor has the discretion to appoint basically whoever they would like. There were no requirements that some would submit an application or a letter. However, letters were encouraged and some people did submit. With that, it is really up to the City Council at this point to just announce who your appointments are, and you will then have a completed Community Diversity Engagement Committee.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go down the line here and ask you to announce your appointee. I'm going to start with Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
After careful consideration and interviewing several people, I appoint Casey McAllister.
All right, Casey McAllister, thank you very much. Councilor Herrera.
Yes, boy, there's some good candidates out here. I'd like to have two picks, if you don't mind. Just kidding. No, I'll
I
go
know
ahead
you're
now. I would say that Claire Snyder would be the one I would pick for right now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Claire Snyder. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My appointee for this committee is Dr. R.W. Taylor.
Fantastic. And Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My choice is Ms. Kim Freeman.
Thank you. And Councilor Starr, you will have an opportunity to see the packet of letters of interest and to talk to people in the community, and you will make your appointment at our first meeting in January. All right, thank you. Councilor Duran.
My appointment is Marquis Toombs.
Marquis Toombs. All right.
Who's that now? Say again?
Marquis Toombs. He owns the Chicken Shack.
Markey?
Markey.
Good.
Markey. E-Y, okay. And the two city councilors that I will be appointing are Councilor Reed and Councilor Herrera. I had the opportunity to interview two outstanding sophomore students from McNary High School. Thank you to Councilor Reed for helping arrange for those interviews with these students. And like you, Councilor Herrera, I'd like to have two appointments as well. Since I am not afforded that luxury, my appointment will be Nevaeh Music to serve as the youth representative voting member of the Community Diversity Engagement Committee. Fantastic. Pardon? I get the youth. Yep, that's all, I'm all in, the two city councilors, so. Yes, Councilor Herrera.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I would respectfully decline and nominate Elizabeth.
Okay. That's a bit of a surprise.
Sound familiar?
No, actually. So obviously it's your choice if you would not like to serve on the committee.
I think I will help in another way, capacity. In fact, I actually will talk to this committee. So that's kind of my plan.
That's what you'd like to do instead? I'm going to honor your request, sir.
Sure.
We have not had this conversation prior to this evening. And Council President Smith, would you be willing to accept that, that appointment?
Yes.
Okay. Just for the record, so people know, the three individuals who served on the work group for this committee were Councilors Herrera, Reed, and Council President Smith. All right, thank you very much. Is there anybody here this evening from a city committee to give a committee report? I didn't get any signups, but just wanted to check in. Okay. So that will then take us to public comment. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. We have 3 public hearings this evening. One is Sammy's liquor license application. 7B is the City of Kaiser Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And 7C is the Master Plan for the Kaiser Public Arts Commission. So if you're here for one of those, stand by, and you should sign up on one of those public hearing sign-in sheets. Other than that, we will go to public testimony, and Julia Goen is here this evening to talk about unleashed dogs in Kaiser Rapids Park. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And if you would just, when you come up, just state your name and your city of residence for the record, and then the time is yours.
Yes, my name is Julia Goen. I have lived in Kaiser since August of 1971. I am glad to have a park close to home that has wide level pathways for my daily walk. In the past, while walking neighborhood streets, I have been tripped and fallen, knocked to the ground, and bitten by loose dogs. In the last few months, there have been virtually daily incidents of unleashed dogs outside of the dog park area at Kaiser Rapids Park. They have come so close to actually touch me. When they come running toward me, I'm afraid that they will harm me or cause me to fall. This autumn, the incidence of loose dogs approaching me has increased. When owners are asked to leash their dog, they sometimes retort, "Their dog won't hurt me," and make no effort to leash their dog. At some point, I explained my concern to the code enforcement officer here. In early November, I left a message for Robert Johnson explaining my concerns after another incident. Then on November 27th, I was charged out by two large dogs that were unleashed while walking the pedestrian path that circles the park. As the dogs started directly at us, I shouted to the owners to put your dogs on leashes. The dogs were right on us before the owners were able to call them off and leash the dogs, saying their dogs won't hurt me, and saying that Robert Johnson told them that they didn't need to follow the ordinance requiring them to leash the dogs. I eventually talked to Robert Johnson and explained my concerns, and he denied telling anyone they didn't have to leash their dogs, of course. Apparently, the city ordinance is not being enforced. For the safety of park users, including walkers, joggers, bike riders, and children using the big toy, the ordinance must be enforced. As things stand, I am afraid to walk in our park.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing this. And I did get an email from Ms. Goen about these incidents and so forth. And I've been there as well when I've been walking my dog and I've had a dog rapidly approach us very aggressively. I've been bitten, I've been knocked down, and I absolutely understand your concern, and you're right, you should be able to walk in the park without a dog knocking you over. So I'm going to go to our police chief and with Mr. Hare's permission, police chief and our public works director to at least, I'm not asking for answers tonight, but next steps for getting some answers to us regarding these and many other similar incidents. I'm going to go to Chief Teague first.
Well, with regard to leash laws in general, Oregon doesn't have a leash law. The county has a leash law because the county has dog control, which is a statutory requirement for the county. We looked at adopting or taking over dog control in the city back in the mid-90s. By the way, I know this wasn't your question, but just for general information. And it was prohibitively expensive. That dog control is covered by the cost of licensing, and we couldn't begin to approach covering our costs with licensing. So I don't know what can be done about dogs off of a leash outside of the parks. We don't have any jurisdiction. Inside the parks, I'm happy to turn it over to Bill Lawyer.
Mr. Lawyer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Park staff routinely remind people to put their dogs on leash when they're in the parks performing their maintenance activities. But park staff are not authorized to enforce the ordinances or the park rules. So park staff are kind of stuck in a position where they can just remind people, encourage people to follow the rules, but they do not have any authority to cite or enforce any of the parks regulations. That's a police department thing.
That's awesome.
And as you can imagine, I'm going to speak for the chief here. I'm sure that there are many other calls for their services that keep them out of walking in the parks to enforce dogs off leash.
Yeah.
Well, true,
It's
you've
difficult.
just
I mean-
raised a question about a possible conversation about what we can do to ensure that people who have dogs are reminded to behave responsibly with those animals. Chief?
Yeah, I mean, that really gets to everything. We have park rules so that we all know what to expect of each other. We expect each other to be good citizens and good neighbors. My worst dog attack was in Home Depot by some person who brought this crazy dog in Home Depot of all places. I don't understand why you would do that. Likewise, I don't understand why you would let your dogs run loose. I don't get it. Regrettably, there's a number of park rules, and again, they're all based on being good neighbors. So consequently, we don't enforce them on view because people don't want us doing that, for one thing. Subsequently, we do enforce them upon receiving a complaint. So I suppose if you carry a cell phone and you have this happening, you can call us. By the way, if you see somebody whose dog's not on a leash, perhaps you know them or have experience with this person, you can call us anonymously. You don't have to be involved in that. And we'll still respond. I mean, I don't get it. None of us cops get it, why people behave that way, and we're happy to help you where we can.
Part of my concern is that people say, oh, my dog won't bite. That doesn't stop him from knocking me off the trail, literally. And I know there's, I've had a police officer had a report on the dog that bit me, and a photograph taken and all the rest. So I know that you respond to those. And that's not, it's almost like people just think, well, if their dog doesn't bite, of course, every dog that doesn't bite, that bites, eventually was a dog that would bite. But it's the fact that they seem unconcerned that they could harm me in other ways, a broken hip at my age, and, you're in rehab and every other thing, and probably maybe never the same if you get a broken bone or something. And it's just, it's like they aren't thinking about, I'm walking with a stick, and I have been walking for 2 hours every day in the park.
Like I said, you feel free to call us and feel free to say that, hey, the cops told me I could call anonymously, that's what I want to do. And this is what the person looks like, this is where their dog looks like, et cetera, and we'll come out and contact them.
So,
And then, if I may, Mr. Hare, if you could work with the chief and Mr. Lawyer on maybe some options that we have that we could step up our abilities, or at least our public information and social media. You have a lot of people here who are more than happy to share this on social media on what is and is not allowed, and just give us the language that we can share. And get that out there, because I'm with you. I was out walking my dog down Delight Street, and a dog got out of a person's house and knocked me flat. And their owner couldn't control that animal, and fortunately I bounced, but that doesn't always the case, and we shouldn't be banking on being lucky. So that would be very helpful, because this is increasing. And as we get more and more people moving in more densely, we're going to have more people using the park. I think it's the time to have this conversation. Does council have additional questions for Ms. Goen, or concerns that you'd like to see addressed in further conversation? Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad you're okay, and we want to keep you that way. Does anybody else want to address council this evening as part of public comment? I would like to acknowledge for the record, we do have 2 written comments that were submitted, one from Tom Holman on the December 6, 2021 council meeting, and one from Andrea Smith, a resident not listed, and her topic was meeting in Kaiser. So those will be entered into the record with their public comment. Anybody else for public comment before I move on to our public hearings? Okay, let's go on to our first public hearing, which is item 7A, Sammy's liquor license application. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We've received a liquor license application for an establishment for Sammy's, which I think was explained pretty well in your packet. There were no reservations or concerns expressed by the police department, and there were no reservations expressed by the police department over this application, and it is recommended that a public hearing be opened to hear testimony from the public regarding this application.
All right, the public hearing is now open, and the staff report is incorporated by reference. Does the City Council have any questions on the staff report? Seeing none, Tracy is getting me the sign-in sheet for the public hearing. Just cruising.
Sorry.
We've had nothing going on tonight, that's fine. All right. And so this evening, I'd like to welcome David Deeker to come and talk about Sammy's and what's happening. And so if you would just introduce yourself and your city of residence, we'd love to hear from you about Sammy's.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for letting me speak. My name is David Deeker, and my brother Tom Deeker and I am standing in for Tom tonight. He wanted to come and had a few words that he wanted to say to everybody, but he got exposed to COVID, and he had the test today, and he couldn't show up tonight. So I'm kind of the second team here. So I thought I'd take a minute and kind of tell you who we are and what we do. We have small restaurant bars with lottery. You know, I think we opened up in 2008 in Salem. We've had, I think we've opened 6 and sold 2, and we have 4. And we've always wanted to put one in Kaiser, just we never ever found anything that we really thought that fit. And the spot came open in Kaiser Station, Kaiser Square, excuse me, that just seemed perfect. And so I'll take a minute and tell you what we do. You know, we describe our places as talking places. It is a bar, and we do serve food, but I describe it as a talking place because we try to set the environment up where people come in and you can sit down and talk. Our goal is something we describe as like the awe factor. And the awe factor, I would say, if a person is driving down the road and they're frustrated by red lights and strip malls and bad drivers, and they arrive at our place and they open the door, we want them to go, give me a beer, give me a cup of coffee, let me sit down and talk. So that's kind of what we do. And we're really excited to be coming to Kaiser. Tom and his family have been here for over 20 years. I live in Kaiser. And we're just really grateful for the opportunity to be here.
Well, thank you so much. And please express to Tom our get well soon.
I will do it. He loves to speak, so I'm sure he's sat down.
Yes, he does. That makes it extra hard. So, anybody have any questions for Mr. Deeker? Councilor Herrera has a question for you.
I want to welcome you guys, and if it's you're Tom's brother,
yes,
we wish the best for Tom. He's a good friend.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else like to address the council this evening on this matter? Do any councilors have any questions regarding this issue before I close the public hearing? Seeing nothing further, the public hearing is now closed. Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the Kaiser City Council recommend approval of the application for Sammy's Kaiser under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Kaiser. This recommendation shall then be forwarded to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council approve the application for Sammy's Kaiser under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Kaiser, and forward the recommendation for approval to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed signify by saying no. And Councilor Starr, you would like to abstain?
Yes, please.
And one abstention. The motion passes with 60 aye and one abstention, and is Councilor Starr. All right, that takes us to item 7B, which is the City of Kaiser Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And this goes City Manager. I'm going to open public hearing. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I'm going to turn this over to our Public Works Director, Bill Lawyer, to explain where we are.
Thank you, Wes. Madam Mayor and Council, the draft update to the Parks Master Plan was presented to the City Council in a work session on November 29th, 2021 by Cindy Mendoza, the project lead for MIG, the consultant hired to perform the update for the master plan. The City Council did not request or suggest any significant edits or changes to the draft plan presented to them at the work session. The draft plan had previously been presented to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and after public input and board discussion, edits to the plan were made and incorporated into the draft plan presented to the City Council. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board unanimously approved a motion recommending the City Council adopt the draft plan at the November 9th, 2021 Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. The process of updating the master plan included public outreach through an online survey, meetings with focus groups such as local organized youth sports organizations and neighborhood associations, and an information kiosk at the Kaiser Fest in August 2021. The matter is scheduled for a public hearing at tonight's meeting. However, the city attorney indicated the meeting should be continued to allow the planning commission to consider the plan due to the fact that the plan is a subset of the comprehensive plan. There's really no direct immediate fiscal impact with the approval of this plan. Staff recommends the city council open the public hearing, receive testimony, and continue the hearing to February 7th, 2022. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report? Okay, hearing none, I would invite anyone here this evening who would like to address the city council about the City of Kaiser Parks and Recreation Master Plan. I don't have anybody signed up, but the microphone is open. If anybody has anything to add at this point. This has been through a lot of process with the parks and with the city. Okay, I think we're all good. So with that, I'm going to continue the public hearing to, give me the right date, to February 7th. So this hearing is continued to February 7th, 2022. That takes us to item 7C, which is the master plan for the Kaiser Public Arts Commission. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You have in your packet, of course, the copy of the...
Microphone.
Thanks. You know, just about the time that I think I've been pretty well trained, I have gotten the timer down more or less. Something comes along and completely throws me off my game here.
We help each other out.
Fortunately, our city attorney is prepared to step in and rescue me, and so he will speak to you about this particular item.
Okay, and then Tracy, did I open the public hearing? Public hearing is now open. City Attorney.
Thank you,
Mr.
Wes.
Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. As you can see from the staff report, Kaiser Public Arts Commission, or KPAC, has been working on a master plan for council's consideration. And at their November 16, 2021 meeting, moved to approve the attached arts master plan and forward to council for approval. There are a couple of tweaks I would like to make to it. They're very minor. I was not able to get those done before the packet. So if there's no objections from council or you don't have any questions come up in the public hearing, the recommendation is to receive that testimony, close the public hearing, and direct staff to bring back our master plan with any suggested revisions.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report? Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just wondering if you could just share the nature of those issues?
It had to do with some of the contracts and the dates, which probably don't need to be in the master plan and change, actually, if you can see what I mean. So they're extremely minor, but I always like to let council know if rather than that's why there's not an ordinance in here yet for adoption. So those were the only things that I saw.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions on the staff report? I'm not seeing any. Is there anyone here who would like to address the city council on the master plan for the Kaiser Public Arts Commission? I don't have anybody signed up, but the microphone is open. Okay. Seeing none. Oops, let me go back. I started scrolling into it. I love the cover, by the way.
Yes.
Very beautiful, which is not a surprise. The cover art, by the way, is by Isabella Biondi, a Kaiser Arts Commission student liaison. So just want to give a plug for her. Great work. Okay, and so at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing if we don't have anything else we need, and go to Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Kaiser City Council direct staff to bring back the master plan for the Kaiser Public Arts Commission with any necessary changes.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council direct staff to prepare appropriate resolution or ordinance to adopt the master plan as presented and to make appropriate revisions to bring back for council consideration. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying no. Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Motion passes with 6 aye and 1 abstention from Counselor Starr. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. Can you direct them out, please? Thank you. We will then go to item 8A, under administrative action, a resolution authorizing city manager to apply for grants for the Roundabout Cows and/or Splash Fountain Mosaic Project. City manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Microphone. It's going to be one of those evenings, Wes. That's just the way it is.
I can see that, yes.
It's okay.
And I believe, you know, the interesting thing about this, and we've had this discussion, the city attorney and I, is this is the first city I've ever worked in or ever seen where everything goes to the city manager first, even though the city manager really doesn't have anything to say about it. So I would strongly encourage that practice to be changed over time. In any event, I know our city attorney has been pining to explain these grant applications to you.
Well, we can note that for when we update our council rules and procedures. So, Mr. Johnson, you can add that to the list of things we'd like to talk about.
Yes, we do. We do like the city manager to do a few things, so it's kind of helpful he has to speak occasionally. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. We have another KPAC, or Kaiser Public Arts Commission matter here, right after the first one. And that was in their November 16 meeting. KPAC made a motion to seek approval from the council for permission to apply for grants for 2 different projects. One for what's called the Roundabout Cows, which I think we've heard about a few times, and the other one is the Splash Mountain Mosaic Tile Project. The KPAC does have a limited budget generally for things, but these are not specifically budgeted for, and the grant approval process in Kaiser is the council has to approve all grants that are not a specific line item. Because KPAC is concerned about the quickness of turning grants around, we would normally come to you with, okay, here is the exact grant, and you would approve that. But they're concerned that some of these have quick turnarounds, so they're asking for pre-approval as long as it's within their budget authority. So that's the matter you have before you. We've prepared a resolution for your consideration, and it basically allows pre-approval by the city manager to apply for grants as long as they fit into those criteria. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report? All right, seeing none. Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the city manager to apply for grants for the Roundabout Cows and/or the Splash Fountain Mosaic Project.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the city manager to apply for grants for the Roundabout Cows and/or the Splash Fountain Mosaic Project. Discussion? Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know you cringe when I speak, but I had some constituents ask me about this. They said that they wanted to make sure there was enough money in the budget to take care of cleaning up after the cows. Sorry, that's all.
Yippee-yi-yay, cow patty. All right. Just as long as we don't do what the mayors of Monmouth and Independence have to do in their parade, where they have to run the pooper scooper behind the equestrian entry. So I'm good with that. This is not going to be other duties as assigned to the council. Just to let you all know. Yeah, this is going to be these are going to be great projects for the Roundabout. I really want to thank the Kaiser Public Arts Commission for the work they've done on this. And I know that the Roundabout Cows, that was Lori Christopher, was determined we were going to have Roundabout Cows there and to memorialize Rosalie's cows. So that's going to be really cool. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed signify by saying no. Abstentions?
Yes, please.
Motion passes unanimously with 1 abstention. That's Councilor Starr. All right. That takes us to item 8B, which is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into Kaiser Station Area C Reimbursement District Reimbursement Agreement with KS Reimbursement LLC, repealing Resolution R 2021-3153. Please tell me that wasn't a typo.
That was not a typo.
City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and once again, we are going to hear from the city attorney on this matter.
Thank you, Wes, Madam Mayor, and Council. This is the third and final part of the trio of events, first amending the Kaiser Reimbursement District Ordinance, then amending the specifically Area C Reimbursement District formation, and now the agreement between the city and the KS Reimbursement LLC. KS Reimbursement LLC, you may remember, is a joint entity from Mountain West, the Apartments and Bonaventure, who did the senior living. I wanted to thank John Eld, who's in the audience tonight from Bonaventure, and their attorney, Dana Krafchek, who I've worked with quite a bit on working through some technicalities of the agreement. It took a while, but we are there. I'm not going to go over the particulars with you. It basically takes care of the issue of how the reimbursement would work, especially with the traffic signal. As you know, because the traffic signal is not constructed yet, so a new developer will have to build that, and there'll be various offsets and holdbacks of reimbursement fees. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report or the agreement? Seeing none, Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the city manager to enter into Kaiser Station Area C Reimbursement District Reimbursement Agreement with KS Reimbursement LLC, repealing Resolution R 2021-3153.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the city manager to enter into Kaiser Station Area C Reimbursement District Reimbursement Agreement with KS Reimbursement LLC, repealing Resolution R 2021-3153. Something tells me the English teacher here might that title. It just occurred to me. Anyway, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying no. Any abstentions?
Yes, please.
Motion passes unanimously with one abstention from Councilor Starr. Item 8C, which is a resolution authorizing the city attorney to sign the final agreements in the National Opiate Litigation Settlement, amending Resolution R 2021-3181. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Once again, city attorney has been handling this matter for some time. I think the council is aware that this has been an ongoing issue and is now approaching a time when cities throughout Oregon, throughout the United States, should be receiving some money to be able to deal with some of the effects from the opioid settlement, or excuse me, the opioid epidemic, I guess would be the better way to call it.
Thank you, Wes, Madam Mayor, and Council. I don't know, how long do you folks have? No, I'm sorry. It's been an interesting thing, even though I've not been directly involved, obviously, but this national opiate settlement litigation is just kind of fascinating, and I don't want to get in too far in the weeds because I'm sure you don't want to go that deep, but the settlement with the actual distributors and one manufacturer at least was done quite a while back and agreed to by a federal judge, but the big holdup has been the allocation throughout the country, for us, of course, in Oregon, between the state and the city county, because the plaintiffs who are paying out the billions of dollars, I can't even remember what the total is, it's $350 to $400 million just in Oregon alone, it's many billions of dollars, don't really want to pay out that money only to find hundreds, if not thousands, of cities and counties not agreeing to it. And so they have the ability to hold back significant sums of money, not proportionately either, by the way, if they don't get everybody signed on. So there's great pressure by the January 2nd deadline for as close to 100% of all cities and counties in Oregon to agree on this allocation between the state and them. The state was arguably not negotiating in good faith for several months. They've come around and the percentages have gone way up. The proposed agreement with the state, although not finalized, is a 55% allocation to the cities and counties and a 45% allocation to the state. There's a lot of different strings attached to this money. It's very possible that we won't directly use it, that we would partner with another jurisdiction, perhaps the county, I'm not sure, for whatever Kaiser's share of those funds would be. It's restricted, obviously, on how it can be used for things at least connected with opiate treatment. Unfortunately, when we talked about this in June, I fully expected long before now, we would have final agreements well before the January 2nd deadline. We don't even have them tonight. And so we're put in the awkward position, and colleagues of mine throughout the state, of asking council. Some of them have automatic authority depending on their charter or different ordinances they have. I do not. And so we find ourselves asking for authority to sign an agreement that we don't have exactly in print. You can see what we call the term sheet in your packet that lays out broadly the terms of the allocation agreement and the other settlement agreements with the with the defendants in this case. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Recommendation is to authorize the city attorney to sign the final agreements when they come in. Hopefully, before January 2nd.
What happens if they don't have it to us by January 2nd?
Well, they will have it to us by January 2nd. I asked some colleagues in Portland and around the state, and they don't think there's any doubt about them coming. It isn't a matter of disagreeing now, it's just a matter of the logistics of getting them out. So I talked to, or actually I guess it was just an email with one of the senior deputy attorneys in Portland, and she said, I do expect the time to be tight. It's not going to be like a week ahead. So that is all I know.
Okay. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Johnson, I assume that once a settlement is actually signed, that you will report back to us what the results of that were?
Yes, obviously. I'll send that out immediately.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Is this not the Purdue?
Purdue may be connected with this later. This is not directly the Purdue bankruptcy.
Okay, because
it
my
is
understanding
extremely.
the judge rejected that.
Yes, that's correct. The judge has rejected, for those of you that might not be familiar with it, Purdue Pharma is connected with the Sackler family. And the Sackler family tried to make ties to avoid any liability on them, even though they were not filing for bankruptcy. A judge has rejected that. Obviously, if you go into bankruptcy yourself, you can cut a lot of deals. But if you're not in bankruptcy, the judge felt you can't have your corporation cover for you. So they rejected that. This template will most likely be used if and when the whole Purdue thing settles, but this does not directly affect the Purdue. It has to do with a series of distributors and then one manufacturer, Janssen or J&J. And those are the ones that it directly covers, but it's likely that this template will be used for Purdue when they get to that stage.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Councilor Reed, anything? Council President Smith, anything? Okay. Councilor Duran? Okay. I just had a couple questions. You talked about the possibility of being able to, once this is settled, then to talk about how these might be appropriately used. And one of our obvious partners is with Marion County Health that provides these services. The city of Kaiser doesn't. We contract with them. So would that be a conversation to have at that point? Or is it, are you looking to go out and ask for proposals on how we might allocate those funds?
I would frankly start with the county, would be my recommendation.
Okay, and that's a conversation we'll have once this is out there, or is that going to be a recommendation to council?
I think I'm going to try to get a feel for what the timing of this is actually going to be. I don't expect the money to be flowing immediately. I think there'll be a timing to it. And as I recall, they are not lump sum payments. I think they're paid over time.
Which then makes, if I'm getting ahead of my skis, just say so, it just makes partnership more logical, because then we can increase the funding behind the Marion County Health Department that increases their ability to provide services to people who need these services.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. Again, I might be getting ahead of myself, but just kind of want to know where these dollars are going to land to do the most good. Any other questions? Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the city attorney to sign final agreements in the National Opiate Litigation Settlement, amending Resolution R 2021-3181.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the city attorney to sign final agreements in the National Opiate Litigation Settlement, amending Resolution R 2021-3181. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Yes, please.
Motion passes unanimously with one abstention from Councilor Starr. We have one more item under administrative action, and that is the resolution authorizing the mayor and city and council president to sign the retire rehire letter and city attorney limited duration employment contract. Heavy sigh. City manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I'm assuming the sigh is that you're not really prepared to lose the city attorney, and the good news is that, well, you really don't have to for a couple of years at least. As I believe the city attorney has explained in the past, he would like to take advantage of the program that the city council adopted, or the process that the city council adopted, that allows for an employee to retire from the PERS system, but yet continue to work back until such time as they decide to permanently retire. And our city attorney has indicated that he would like to work until at least February of 2024. So we're talking a couple of years here at least. In any event, this actually is a positive in terms of fiscal impact for the city, and that we will be saving approximately $3,900 in PERS employee matching contributions during fiscal year 21-22 and $9,600 during fiscal year 22-23. So the other benefit, I think, to the city that is probably pretty obvious is that we have, excuse me, a number of senior employees, city employees, who it's going to be a challenge to replace, and having some time to be able to prepare for that, I think, works to everybody's advantage. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can.
Thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report? And Mr. Wood, I know this is a program that we adopted several months ago because there was both a planning and a fiscal advantage to the city. So for our viewers, a little bit about what this does in terms of our financial impact from that great big sucking sound on our general fund called PERS.
I don't know if a sucking sound is the right sound. It's not annoying, and anyway, I got a love letter from PERS last week. It was our annual evaluation report, and we're set to adjust our rates July 1st, 2023. And just a change from the rates alone is going to cost the city about $580,000. $375,000 is going to impact the general fund. So it's going to hurt. The biggest impact is from a reduction in the assumed investment return. It went from 7.2% to 6.9%. So if you see me out in the lobby looking at all the couch cushions, I am looking for change to pay our PERS bills. So that's what I am doing. Or I'll be out collecting cans, whatnot. But this program is one of the few programs that we have available to us as a city to try to address some of the impact. What we're doing is we're allowing people to retire early and then work back until December 31st, 2024. The primary benefit is when they do that, we no longer have to pay the employee 6% pickup. So we get a 6% reduction right off the top. In addition, there's a certain percentage that we have to pay for the employer piece. And instead of that being directed towards the individual retirement account, it's now used to pay down the unfunded liability for us, which unfortunately is about $14 million now. So some good benefit out of this. Although I don't
know how Mr. Johnson's going to work for the next 22 years under this program with me. Because we got 22 more budgets to do, and then I can go with you. So.
Anything else? I'm looking at Ms. DePina from the HR perspective, because you manage some of the work on these retirement rehires, and is there anything else that would help us understand this program?
I really don't have anything new to offer since we passed the resolution that authorized us to do the retire rehire. City attorney's situation being a little bit different because he's a contractual employee rather than a regular employee. So that's why you have a change in the contract, minor revisions to it, nothing substantially different. And we did work with our external labor attorney on that in case there's any question of, who worked on that contract. It wasn't our city attorney. And I guess the only other thing I would say is we have had a number of employees take advantage of the program. There are still at least as many employees eligible that we have not yet heard from. So we'll see if any of those step up to the plate soon. It does have a sunset, as mentioned, of December 2024, and that by our resolution is regardless of whether PERS decides to continue the program.
And that is something that a future city council could address at that point, but
Yes.
right now we're operating under the current resolution from the state.
Yes, all agreements with the employees have that as an end date. However, we have had a couple of employees say their planned end date is earlier. We always leave room for them to extend if they choose to.
Okay.
Up to that date.
Okay. Thank you very much. Councilor Kohler, you had a question?
I did. I just wanted to make sure that Mr. Wood was willing to serve as interim city attorney if we weren't able to replace him in a timely manner after he actually retires.
We do all wear various hats. Yeah, no. I think he's done as many hats this year as you ever want to. All right. I think the only other thing to say is Mr. Johnson has been integral to the establishment of Kaiser and to the smooth operation of Kaiser. And we've gone from a newborn infant city through our terrible twos, our teenage trauma, our 20s and 30s, and next year Kaiser turns 40. So you've been through us all through growing up and figuring it out. And there is no replacement for you. I just hope we can download as much as possible to give your successor a fighting chance to be able to keep the good work in an upward trajectory. But you've been a major part of what's made Kaiser successful.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Anything else? Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the mayor and council president to sign retire rehire letter and city attorney limited duration employment contract.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Kaiser City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the mayor and council president to sign retire rehire letter and the city attorney limited duration employment contract. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed signify by saying no. Abstentions?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously with one abstention. Councilor Starr. That concludes the administrative action for this evening. Council President Smith, would you please read the items on tonight's consent calendar?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. There are 7 items on the consent calendar tonight. Item A, resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase 2021 Coyote CK 3510 SEH 4x4 tractor for the Parks Division and of the Public Works Department. B, resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase a 2022 Ford 4x4 pickup truck for code enforcement. Item C, resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract with Wireworks LLC for police department vehicle equipment installation services. Item D, resolution authorizing Public Works Director to apply for Oregon State Marine Board Maintenance Assistance Program grant funding. Item E, approval of November 29th, 2021 work session minutes. Item F, approval of the November 29th, 2021 special session minutes. And G, approval of the December 6th, 2021 regular session minutes.
Thank you very much. Are there any polls? Seeing no polls, Council President Smith.
I move that the Kaiser City Council approve the items A through G on the consent calendar.
Second?
The consent calendar, items A through G have been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed signify by saying no. Abstentions.
I abstain.
Motion passes unanimously with one abstention from Councilor Starr. Other business, this time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. Are there any other items that council or staff would like to introduce as other business this evening?
I have nothing, Madam Mayor.
All right. Then I would like to go to staff updates and start with our city staff who's all here tonight. And Mr. Hare?
I can give you a brief update. It doesn't really amount to news, but I am going to be talking tomorrow with the executive recruitment firm, just some questions about their ongoing role. I hope we hear perhaps a little bit of an update of what they've been doing, whether or not they've been receiving some additional applications. I think as the council is aware, the new deadline is January 15th before the next review, the next formal review. And it's my hope and my expectation that we should be seeing interviews soon after that time for the top candidates.
Thank you very much. And I also understand that more cities are also looking for city managers at this time. There's a lot of openings around the state and the nation.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Davis.
Thank you. I have nothing but happy holidays to all.
Thank you, and to you as well. Mr. Wood.
Just a reminder, keep saving water. We're about the halfway point, so just a couple more months and then your sewer will be reset and hopefully at a lower rate. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. DePina.
Nothing for me other than happy holidays and stay safe out there.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. And you as well. Chief Teague.
Coffee with a cop tomorrow at the Starbucks on River Road.
Starting at?
9 o'clock to 11.
9 to 11. Thank you very much. If I may, there were some people over off of Delight and Churchill area last night that were blasting off fireworks and scared the pee-wad out of my dog. I don't know if there's been any follow-up on that yet, but just wanted to let you know that that happened again. So, all right, Mr. Witham.
All right, well, Merry Christmas to everybody. Congratulations, welcome to City Council, Councilor Starr. And then I had one thing I wanted to kind of give everybody an update on. I've got a whole bunch of phone calls recently. People are freaking out a little bit. The Chick-fil-A sign, I guess, came off of the marquee. I don't know why. What I do know is the building permits have been issued. So I don't know if they've actually picked them up from our office yet, but there is no, I think I've gotten 4 calls in the last 2 days. Did Chick-fil-A pull out? Are they leaving? They better not be, because I promised my kids. So, I'm hoping. So anyway, just if you get questions on that, the city doesn't know. We don't own the sign. It may be that they're doing a different sign. I'm not sure. But the permits have been issued, and I know that's been a question, and we've been waiting, and those were done, I believe, last week. Actually, we issued those permits in the system, so I think they still have to be picked up. But I would expect that there would be some sort of news out of the Chick-fil-A folks, and I'm guessing they're probably not going to get out there and start construction the week of Christmas and New Year's, but I would think probably shortly after we'll hear some activity. So that's all.
Yeah, probably not in this weather. Do you remember the whole thing with Trader Joe's? Yeah, for those who don't remember, the sign went up and sign came down and the rumor mill went berserk. So I can see why you got those phone calls. Thank you for letting everybody know what the score is. Appreciate it. Mr. Lawyer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a little quick update on the flooding and I would say lack of thereof at this point. Even though we've had quite a bit of rain over the last 36 hours, really only some flooding concerns along LaBiche Ditch, Jakewood Court, Parkside Court, and over in Hidden Creek on Lazy Creek. That's pretty typical. When we have this kind of rain, LaBiche Ditch gets full, the stormwater system surcharges into the streets, and rain lets up, the ditch empties, the water goes away. Staff's monitoring it. I was up there twice today, didn't see anything out of the ordinary. My staff have walked pretty good stretch of LaBiche Ditch through Keizer looking for blockages, didn't find anything. So everything's functioning as good as it can, just have a lot of rain and, over a lot of hours. And I was a little surprised that the ditch filled up as fast as it did. That caught me a little by surprise. But nothing that I haven't seen before and nothing out of the ordinary. Our overflow channel from the wetlands to the east of Country Glen Park is working absolutely perfect, just like designed. Just have water in the streets for a couple days until the ditch drops. That's all I got.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And then if reminding people to clear any sort of debris off of the top of their storm drains, to please do so. And there's in the forecast some colder weather coming up this weekend. Is possibility of snow. It could happen, maybe, possibly, sort of. It keeps kind of in and out of the forecast, but if it does happen, what happens next around here, depending on how much?
We're in regular contact with Marion County about sanding and de-icing for our roads. As the forecast evolves, we'll touch base with them and make sure where we are in their schedule. We're kind of second to their priority roads in the county. But they've done very well for us in the past, and I would expect the same service this year, if necessary.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate the update. Mr. Johnson?
Nothing tonight. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Happy holidays.
Thank you, and to you as well. That takes us then to council member reports, and we will start with Councilor Duran.
I have nothing tonight.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Councilor Shaney Starr, I'd like to give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself to our viewing audience. And you made your presentation, and unfortunately it wasn't broadcast, so if you would just let folks know who you are, and welcome aboard.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My name is Shaney Starr. I've lived in Kaiser for almost 13 years. I've served as Executive Director, CASA of Marion County for the last almost 6 years. And I'm thrilled to be here and ready to partner with the citizens of Kaiser. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Not too many things this last couple weeks. We did have the tree lighting down on River Road. I made it to that. The Chamber does a great job every year of that. And actually had another tree lighting that a lot of people aren't aware of this last weekend up at Detroit. And I want to say just a special thank you to a few Kaiserites who really, this is the second year in a row that we've done this. And Mr. Dave Wallery got extra lights last year and to take care of this tree that gets donated. We have Keith Owen, who used to live here in town as well, got the tree up there. Councilor Duran was there to help get it set up. Mike Gatchett with G&G Machine, he built a star for it, and then Dave got it all wired and everything. So the community of Detroit got to have a tree lighting as well for the second year in a row, trying to get the traditions going. And I just wanted to say a special thank you to those Kaiser residents who continue to reach out and support a community that definitely needs it. So thank you guys all very much for that. And a special thanks to Shane for saying that about the Chick-fil-A. I did see that all over Facebook today, and I was getting ready to call you, but I'd already called Bill about the flooding, so I felt like I was being kind of annoying today. But I figure if I can cut it off on social media, it might reduce the phone calls. So thank you guys for always taking my phone calls. Thank you all the city staff. Just thanks so much. You guys have done a fantastic job this year. Hasn't been easy. Really appreciate you hanging in there, and it is my honor to work with you guys. So I just want you all to have a great holiday, and thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you very much. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So In my world, at McNary, we had quite a lot of holiday-related activities. I did go see Alpha Musical, and I think a few of us did, and it was just delightful. It was an excellent performance, and it was just a lot of fun. They had both the orchestra, band, and choir concerts. I was only able to go to the choir concert, but it was really fun, and just a lot of dedicated people, and seeing some good things happening after being on hiatus for so long. Also, there were many different clubs that were involved with providing various relief at Christmas time. I think something like 55 families were adopted through the Adopt a Self program through various clubs and organizations. I got to help out the Latino Club with gift wrapping and preparing for their presence at the light parade, and that was great fun because then the day after, the Islander Club helped do some of the wrapping, and so it was a good community kind of event. And a big thank you to all they do. The Latino Club in particular does a lot with community service, and we really appreciate what they're doing. And then also just I know you got to come into McNary for a bit last week, and they do, the leadership classes do some pretty amazing things with the halls. Each class, each advisory class decorates their own section, but it is pretty amazing. If you ever have the opportunity to walk through the halls of McNary during the holidays, it is pretty spectacular. So that was a lot of fun, and so happy holidays, everyone, and look forward to a good new year.
Thank you, and thank you for all your work with our world-class McNary Celtic students. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I, first of all, want to welcome Councilor Starr and thank all the applicants for having the courage to come up and step up. And I know that they will all volunteer anyway, and that's what Kaiser people do, so I'm really grateful for that. I missed the Kaiser United meeting today because we had a lot of stuff going on with the League of Oregon Cities, as we know, and it's pretty much been consuming my day today, sort of. And I got to reach out and thank, first of all, Councilor Durand. Thank you for connecting me with the chamber, because that meant a lot to me. I worked on it forever, and thanks to you connecting me with them, we now have a Future First Citizen Award for our banquet, which is going to go to a young person. I've always thought that was, you talk about inclusion, that should be included. And I'm really happy that they are naming it in honor of Dennis Coho. And that has been my goal, because I felt like, he was a great mayor and two-time counselor, president of Chamber, president of Rotary. I mean, he did pretty much everything here and never got his due, I think. So I think I'm really proud of this moment that he will be honored in that award. So, and the reason for that is because he has encouraged me to, well, he did in the early 90s put me on the gang task force and got me encouraged with community events, which I was kind of doing anyway, but he was very instrumental in helping me do the same thing, bringing other folks into the community as far as getting, at that time it was park stuff done, but I really appreciate that. Anyway, enough about that. Also, I want to thank Linda Warner, who's been making all those masks out there, and I mean, literally thousands, and giving them to folks that really need them. I really appreciate it. She made me one personal one, a big extra duck one, so you like that? And with all this stuff, and by the way, happy holidays to everybody, or Merry Christmas, whatever you say is fine. I just want to tell folks, especially the students that I worry about, that, all students should, I worry about some of the things that are going through right now, because they should all be welcomed in our schools, and not matter who they are, where they come from, or even how they identify. And I think that some of the kids that I've worked with, they need to be, loved for who they are. So that was my 2 cents. So everybody have a safe holiday, and thanks for everything. Hope you guys liked your little Christmas scarves. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's a couple of things. I attended the Parks Board meeting this last week, and it was very memorable for me. I wish we could do more of our meetings like that. It took all of 12 minutes. and I'll fill in for you anytime the meeting is like that, Elizabeth. But they did report on the different parks and what was going on, so it wasn't a total waste. And the other thing that happened, I was totally impressed, every member of the Parks Board was there, which that doesn't always happen. So it's really neat when the members of the committee come and show up, and that's kind of what Kaiser does, but it doesn't always happen that way. So in addition to the tree lighting and the Santa Central work and delivering the gift baskets and all, the Jingle Dash, the parade, 312 families had boxes and presents delivered, food boxes and presents, and it's just amazing. As I reviewed a Facebook post earlier this week, the post expressed appreciation for the blessing of the parade and what it meant to all of us here in Kaiser. And as I pondered that, thank you, I considered all of the wonderful people that do so much to help so many. Just a couple little things, and then I'll leave that alone, but I want to acknowledge Bishop Paul Jones and the Salem First Ward of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that donated just over 100 toys to Pastor Dominguez for the children of incarcerated people to help with their Christmas. And thank you for Pastor Dominguez for helping put that together. And then the tree in our lobby here, I know our city staff volunteers to do that. They do that out of their own pocket, and appreciate all the time and effort that goes into that. And then the elf musical that was done, very Christmassy thing. There's tons and tons of people. And yes, I did go to the orchestra concert too. I have a grandson plays. And the Adopt a Self program. There's just so many things that are going on. All the things that happen with the chamber are amazing, but nobody really understands, I don't think, what all they do. The Christmas decorations that go up, there are tons and tons of things. Kaiser shows up. Kaiser's amazing, and I think that we just need to say thanks once in a while. Some of those people will never accept a thanks, or you can't ever say, hey, so-and-so did this. Yeah, it's not a big deal because, there are all these other people. But that's just it. There is all of those people, and that's what makes Kaiser so great. Let's see, is there anything else? I attended the Latino Business Alliance meeting. There was a presentation on a program that helps injured workers and how they can get some new work. And so, what a great group that is. LBA is pretty amazing what they do. So anyway, I'll leave that on. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Oh, that's your job.
Getting close. Thank you very much. Just a couple things to add. The Middletown Valley Homeless Alliance Board met, and again, more projects, more services are coming online. For folks who want to know, the big one right now is that the duration shelter is open. They opened on the 13th. They're running to at least the 26th. They'll assess beyond that when it comes to looking at the weather forecast coming up with snow in the forecast. That forecast may change, or the opening may change. If people who are homeless or housing insecure need to get to the shelter, they're running free shuttles from Arches. Also, the Salem Kaiser Transit offers free transportation for anybody to any of the shelters in our area. So all somebody has to do is get on and say, I need to get to one of these shelters, like Safe Sleep, like the duration shelters, the Mission, et cetera, and they will get you there. So, keep passing on the word, and also the generosity of the people in our community to continue to give to the organizations that are providing meaningful, lasting services to people who are homeless and housing insecure. You're making a very, very big difference. And thank you from all of us that are working together to take care of those who are in the greatest need in our community. You are making a difference, you're saving lives, and you're helping people find hope. So thank you so much for that work. That will continue into the new year on a very long-term basis. We're in it to win it. The other thing I want to mention to you all is the Kaiser Heritage Foundation Board did meet on the 14th, and the Cultural Center next door continues to thrive. getting ready for 2022 to be an amazing year for our Keizer Community Library, the Keizer Arts Association, Keizer Homegrown Theater, and the Keizer Heritage Museum. Working together, that cultural center is doing some amazing things and is an amazing place for our community. Lastly, I did attend the SEDCOR, which is the Strategic Economic Development Corporation Annual Awards Luncheon. And it was an absolute delight to see that the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments, and I believe this is the first time ever, was named the Business Partner of the Year. The COG has worked tirelessly, especially our finance staff, to get money to businesses through all of the variety of small business administration loan programs and this acronym grant and that acronym grant and whatever it was, getting money appropriately to the businesses as rapidly as possible. That team has worked tirelessly to support the businesses in our 3-county region. And to be acknowledged by SEDCOR as a business partner, I think speaks volumes about how far our Council of Governments has come in becoming a stronger and stronger regional partner, and how SEDCOR has worked so hard to help businesses pivot, reinvent, market, collaborate, so that there are good jobs, businesses that are thriving in our 3-county, Marion, Polk, and Yamhill County. We lost some, but we gained a lot, and we are ending 2021 pretty much on our feet. And that's saying a lot for Marion, Polk, and Yamhill counties. So congratulations to the COG, of which the city of Keizer is a member, and we're going into 22, and we're in it to win it there as well. Coming up, I do have SCATS tomorrow, which is the Salem Kaiser Area Transportation Study. They moved their meeting up from the 4th Tuesday to tomorrow. And to let you know, also, I've been appointed to the League of Oregon Cities Policy Committees for Community Development and for Transportation. So that work will get underway for several meetings this spring to work on policy option packages and support for legislation that is helping and supportive of our cities, all 241 cities in the state of Oregon. That is all I've got this evening under under council member reports. Blah, 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 blah. Agenda input. January 3rd, 2022, we will meet at 7 p.m. in regular session. On January 10th, we will meet in a work session, and I do believe we do have a topic, if I remember correctly. Yes, Mr. Lawyer?
Wheatland Road multimodal study presentation from the consultants will be that work session.
Woo! Looking forward to that. Wheatland Road, yes. Looking forward to that very much. And then on January 18th, which is a Tuesday, at 7 p.m., the council will meet in regular session. Anything else for agenda input? Anything else for the good of the order? Happy holidays, everybody. Be safe out there and have a very happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. The time is 8:19. We are adjourned.